designing and wanting to design came from just trying to figure out where this hip hop thing was going and and pair that up with my talents in design, right? Or just art in general. So as breakdancing sort of fell by the wayside, we had one challenges. Our biggest thing was to compete with the best, and that's was in the Swatch watch competition. That's 1984, 85. My friend and peer at the time, his name's Deuce Martinez. He's the DJ now, but he won the previous year. And in that, if you study that era, New York's Dynamic Breakers, there was New York City Breakers, and then there was Rocksteady Crew. Those were like the three main sources for being in movies. Hey, if you want to be in a movie, if you want breakdancers, you pick from those sets of groups. So as the breakdancing waned, we did our thing. We won as much as we can win. You start thinking about, much like an athlete, after he has his best years, what am I going to do after this whole thing evolves, right? You're going into late 80s, early 90s now, and hip hop's changing. I had never seen this part of it. I couldn't imagine someone like Run DMC not being hot. I couldn't imagine Houdini not being hot. Like first round, the music evolved, but it had never been done before. So Sugar Hill had an explosion. Grandmaster Flash 45 had an explosion of presence, but it was done so smoothly where their music was played less and less, more of Run DMC. And Run DMC brought it to a super commercial level with MTV and everything. So you have this, and you're watching the evolution of the first wave of commercial hip hop. And it's happening with all the other pillars. So you have your first wave of breakdancers. You have what are they going to do? Your first wave of graffiti artists, what are they going to do? So it's like all these pillars that were created, those guys were now OGs, super OGs, like super OGs, right? So then that happened in my era where I was like, hey, this breakdancing thing can't be done forever. This is what I loved. It was closest to a sport and exercise. I played a lot of basketball. So I decided to go back to look at the arts part of it, the graffiti part and the art part of it. As part of the peripheral of being in the culture, if someone needed a jacket done, I used to do that on the side. So I started taking that seriously. You start to change. I'm graduating. I'm going into the last year in high school, right? And what am I going to do for a living? I'm not going to be an actor. It's kind of risky. I need to make money every day, and breakdance is not going to do it every day. So you start looking. So it transitioned into the first time, and I knew that as a person, I wasn't going to stay stuck. I evolved into taking art more seriously. So my last year in high school, a lot of partying, a lot of chilling, but in the back of my mind, I got to figure out what to do with myself. I got to make money so that my mother doesn't worry. And that's around the time I started saying, hey, I love clothes, and why don't I go to art school? I wasn't good at math, so I wasn't, and was very delayed in signing up for colleges. I was just, you got to imagine, it's 1984, 85. It is so much, Fresh Fest is happening. It is so much in hip hop, original hip hop happening that you can't, I'm like, I don't know that I can make money off of any of this, but I need to be there. Like, I need to be at these scenes, and it sort of sucked my schoolwork stuff for that way. And I wasn't prepared for entry into college. So I ended up, my school was called St. Benedict's Prep. It's in Newark. Pretty well-known school. Now it produces, super athletes, J.R. Smith, you have Tristan Thompson. We produce basketball players and soccer players. But I was that school was late 80s, was starting to get its roots and sort of figure out how to create this perennial sports programs. And The school right next to me, which was Rutgers University in Newark, was not, so it was easy entry into that. That's right down the block. I got in, and that's when I really got serious. The first year, I was told, you go to school, and I was enjoying college, and I really started enjoying dressing up more, like dressing clothes. So I started understanding what fashion meant to me, and I took that more seriously. By this first year of college, I said, I want to do this for a living. How do I pivot out of this college that I'm in, which is, it's a great college, Division I, but it's not, I have no art programs here. So if you can imagine, St. Benedict's here, you got Artai right next to it. That's where like Michael B. Jordan's went, like literally a block away. So it's an art school, arts high school that I did not go to, right? I should have went there, but I didn't. But all creatives were there. It's all creatives. And I was like, I should have went there, but it's not as good a diploma as St. Benedict's. And then Rutgers was right next door. So I found out about a program next door that taught me how to draw fashion illustration. And I thought that would be the best way to get into FIT, which is the school I wanted to go to. I identified FIT as the cheapest, most famous fashion school to get into. And the commute wasn't that much or that hard. And I figured, let me get into fashion this way, through illustration, not design, because design was, to get into there is more stringent. You know what I mean? It's much more hard to get in. So an admissions teacher that was teaching at Artai next door at night was on the admissions board at FIT. All this stuff was found out pre-internet. So I found out, I'm a hustler, found out that the teacher that was teaching there at night would help me get into the school I want to at FIT. So I became her best friend. I enrolled in all her classes, even though I didn't need them. I enrolled and became her best friend. So she liked me, I was a likable guy, and then she got me into the school. So around that time, I figured out the philosophy of, what do be mindful of your hobbies, because that's what probably you're meant to be doing in life, right? If you can be mindful of your hobbies, and then at an early age, and see, hey, this is not work for me. This is what I like to do when I have free time. And if while you're working a 9 to 5, you can do something that you enjoy to do in your free time, then it's not work. So you're not working. So that's what I was able to evolve to the point where I understood that dynamic. And I was like, fashion, illustrate, anything in fashion, I'm going to enjoy. I need to figure that out. It was just an evolution, stepping away from hip hop in that manner, but it still put me in one of those pillars, of creative pillars, right? So that's 85 to 88. Now we're entering KRS-One era, Big Daddy Kane era. So I've seen now, wow, I've seen like Cold Crush, Furious, all that era, the Cold Crush era. You got Grandmaster Flash, and then you got Run DMC, Houdini. Then you have this Big Daddy Kane era coming. So I saw 3, and I'm like, wow. But I was getting more into fashion, and I was getting comfortable. So to transition, you have to know at that crucial moment, what do you want to do in life, and what will put money on the table and satisfy your creative needs. FIT was it. I entered FIT in 1988 after 2 years of Rutgers, and luckily I did all my cores at Rutgers, and I just had to go to FIT and just draw every day, all day, nothing else. I didn't have to do math. Like my counterparts were 2 years younger than me, and they had to do math, English. They had to do their cores, plus they had to draw. Me, I'm going in there, all my cores were done, and all I did was draw. All I did was focus on art. And then after that, then you evolve again. So you go into the art program and you see, I got this, no different than breakdance. I can compete here. You in the way that FIT set up, it's four buildings, A, B, and C, and D. I was in the D building, but if you go to the C building, it's all design, all designers, different set of tools you work with, different mindset. They were more mechanical, like fixing cars. They were like sewing, and they were doing mechanical stuff. The creative was not there. So I was looking at them sketches. They're like, show me your sketches. They're like, the sketches look horrible. Like they were not talented. A designer is not talented in drawing. Designer just has it in here and wants to get it out and sew it. I was here, teach me how to do the mechanical part. Because that anybody can change the tire. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can do that. It's what are you doing before and after that? So I figured that out, and then I slowly went into fashion design.